Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another 10 palettes. Would I buy these 10 palettes again? These were all picked out by my boyfriend. So we're going to see what we've got. We've got some like limited editions here. We've got some like current favourites. So I'm excited to get into it. First off, if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like, and if you want to subscribe, it would mean the world to me. We post 2 videos a week over here. Also, this makeup look I just filmed is with the new Hocus Pocus Regain Focus palette from Plouise. So if you do want to see how I did this look, I'm going to leave it below. Quick heads up, that video is long and I am chatty, but if you enjoy that kind of video, then that one's for you. Caffeination at the ready. Let's talk about some palettes. So first palette we've got is the Pastel Roses Angel palette. Now I was really excited to talk about this one because I really like this palette, but I opened it and it's just all gone a bit gammy. I don't know whether you can see, but there's like stuff leaking out of the shadows. There's like oil leaking out of them. They still feel okay. They still perform how they performed before. But in all honesty, it's kind of put me off using this palette. I really like it. The shadows are beautiful. The mattes are really easy to use, easy to blend. I like the fact it's kind of like you've got kind of little groups of 3. I feel like it'd be a great way for like somebody to learn how to use pastels and more colours. But seeing it's gone all icky, I would not buy this again. I'm actually going to drop Pastel Roses a message because I've never had this kind of trouble with any of their shadows before. It does say it's got a 12-month shelf life, so maybe that's the issue. But like I said, none of their shadows have done this to me before, so I just sort of want to let them know. These mattes do have a tiny bit of shimmer in them just to make them a little bit easier to blend. It's a really nice palette. It's a really great colour story, but maybe I wouldn't recommend it because it's going to ooze and nobody wants an oozy palette. Okay, next up we've got the Sensorium Chapter 1 palette. This is kind of open. What this one looks like. This is kind of like the craziest all over the place rainbow palette, but I actually really love it. Now this is currently on sale for like £10 on the Sensorium website. I don't know whether they're trying to get rid of excess stock. I don't know whether they're doing a rebrand, but all their products, the Brow Engineer, the kind of really extreme highlighter, and this palette are all on really great offers on their website. So if you do like the look of it, it might be worth picking it up. It could soon be gone. I'm not sure what's going on. I've been trying to sort of gauge it from their Instagram and I've just got no idea. This palette has got everything. It's got pastels, it's got neons, it's got the most gorgeous shimmery shades. This shade down here, Scalpel, is beautiful. It's a bit of a crazy layout. I can see why some people wouldn't like it, but I find it makes me think a little bit more creatively. I quite like a sort of mixed up layout because it makes me make colour combinations that I perhaps wouldn't do if it was all like laid out really neatly. But I really like this palette, and for the price it currently is down to, it's well worth picking up. This one nobody ever mentions. This is Cosmic Brush's first palette. This is Royal Rose. I really like this one. I think it's a really pretty palette. If you're into pinks and purples, it's a really great one. You've got some neutrals, you've got like your pops of blue. It's a really pretty palette. It's the exact same formula as the rest of the Cosmic Brush's shadows. So I really don't know why this one doesn't get talked about more because it's really pretty. I feel like she's underrated. I personally think this is one of my favourites. I think this one and Delicious Delights for me are the top 2. So yeah, I think she deserves more hype. I would absolutely, definitely repurchase this one. Cosmic Brushes are amazing quality and the products are just beautiful, and they're so affordable as well, so definitely would repurchase this one. Next we've got the Beauty Bay Bright Matte Iron palette. Now this is the first version. Now, since this one, they have actually released the Bright 2.0, so I probably wouldn't pick this one up this time. I don't really reach for it. It's a bit too matte. As much as I love pulling in like a pigment or something, in terms of convenience, I would rather it was all there in one palette if I wanted it that way. So I don't tend to reach for it. The rainbows are really nice, but the quality of the 2.0 is definitely better. So this one is one that if it did disappear out of my collection, I probably wouldn't repurchase it because I do prefer the 2.0 bright version. I'm not sure whether they do a matte and a shimmery in the Bright 2.0, but I don't necessarily need all these colourful mattes. I feel like if you're into really creative like face painting looks, this could probably be really handy for like setting powders and contours and stuff. But for me, I definitely prefer the 2.0. I did also pick out another Beauty Bay palette. This is the by Jade palette, and this for so long was one of my absolutely favourite palettes. I don't tend to use it as much anymore because you can't get a hold of it anymore, but it is absolutely gorgeous. This is one I would really miss if it wasn't in my collection. I do still reach for it. I think you've just got everything you would ever need in here. If you wanted to start out with colour, this would have been a great palette. I'm not going to talk about it too much because, as I said, it isn't available anymore, which makes me really sad. But it's a great palette and one I really would miss in my collection, and it would be very sad because I couldn't repurchase it. This one, oof, I love Bperfect. I love Bperfect palettes. But this one I do not use as much as my Carnival palettes. It's really pretty. You've got some pressed glitters and a big white and a big black and a blush and a bronzer, and I get it for drag. It really does make sense, but for me, I just don't reach for this one. You've got some really nice colours. The shadows all work beautifully. Wouldn't ever use the pressed glitter, but that's just personal preference. These, I don't think I've ever actually touched. I'm not gonna lie. For me, this is basically a matte palette. These shimmers just don't really do anything for me. It is basically completely matte. I like it. I'm glad I have it in my collection. I'm glad I could support the collab. I think that Vivienne is an incredible artist. But for me, I just don't use this one enough to miss it, really. Saying that, maybe now I've pulled it out, I will give it another go. I don't actually know if this one is still available. But like the packaging is really cute. You just kind of don't imagine what's inside compared to the packaging. Like I said, if you are a drag artist, this would probably be amazing because the giant white and the giant black. But yeah, I've just not used it enough, really, just because, I don't know, I just don't vibe with that one. And I don't really know why, because it's such a me palette, and I don't know whether it's the different pans that throw me off, or I don't know. What can I say? My brain works in funny ways. Thanks, ADHD. Right, let's talk about this one. Life's a Drag Facelift. So this is the second coming of this palette from Luna Beauty. I barely use this. I actually don't even know if it's still available. I've heard Luna Beauty's formula has really upped their game. It's got some really pretty shimmers in it. I thought I would enjoy the like half matte, half colour, but in fact I find myself looking for more colours, because to me these are like your primary colours, yes, but you can't get much of a look out of it unless you want it to be fully pink or to be fully green. You can't really do anything with it because there's not a lot of like blending shades to kind of work with. As I said, the shimmers are really pretty, and this little 9-pan nude quad is really cute. I just don't use it because we all know I'm not a nude girl. This is about as nude as it gets, and it's like green and purple and there's wet liner, and yeah. I don't use this one. I thought I would use it a lot and I don't. I feel like if you are perhaps getting into colour, maybe it'd be nice because you can do like the 9-pan nudes with, oh, there goes the sun. You can do the 9-pan nudes with like a pop of colour, but for me, wouldn't miss it if it was gone. Okay, last three we do love a bit more, which I'm glad to say. This one is Melt. This is last year's Christmas palette. This is Amore in Mariposa. I've just absolutely butchered that, I can tell you that now. This is the most beautiful kind of colourful neutral autumn palette You get that. It's a colourful, neutral, awesome palette. Oh, the sun's back. Okay. We're back to not looking so chilly. This palette is beautiful. The shadows are gorgeous. The shimmers are so intense. I really love this one. I think you can still get it. They did a really beautiful blush palette alongside it. It's one I really, really love. One I do still reach for quite a lot. And now I've pulled it out. I know full well it's going to be one that I'm pulling out for the next couple of weeks as well. Really beautiful. If you do get a chance to pick it up, definitely do. I always find with Mel, I always actually like their formula better when it's kind of like a seasonal holiday palette. I find a lot of their kind of everyday palettes are a bit all over the place. I did not like the 27 palette, I think it is. That was patchy and not great. I do still have my eye on Gemini, but because Smelt's formula's a bit all over the place, it worries me. But this one is gorgeous. The mattes blend beautifully, no patchiness. So yeah, I tend to stick to their holiday palettes. I am actually really intrigued by the Halloween collection, but as we all know, I'm on a spending ban, apart from my budget box every month from Plouise, so I think I'm going to have to miss out on that one. Then last two, we've got some more indie brands. This is the Creepy Cute from Shroud Cosmetics. I love this palette. It's a great pastel palette, a great way to sort of ease yourself in because you've got the grey and the black. I use this on its own because it makes like a beautiful like pastel transition kind of vibe with like a shimmer on the lid. I don't mind all matte palettes when they're this small. My issue with the Beauty Bay one is it's so massive. So having this and like a little shimmery moment, this is Phoenix from Kaima Cosmetics, is not an issue. It's when you've got a massive palette and no shimmers. But yeah, I really like this one. Shroud Cosmetics formula is really, really beautiful. The pastels aren't too white based, so I feel like they wouldn't be ashy if you were of like a darker skin tone. Really cute, really love it. And the packaging is just so cute. I love it. And then last but not least is the newest palette out of these 10. This is Give Me Glow Juicy Blueberry. At first I wasn't sure about the whole change from the big pans to these kind of little square ones, but I actually like this. It's really compact, good and solid, which we always like. This is just gorgeous. It's got this really beautiful like duochrome shade here, which is like a purple to orange duochrome. I don't know whether you can see that because the light's all over the place because it's autumn and it's the UK. But that's really beautiful. The mattes are gorgeous. I love this kind of like grey toned lilac. It's so gorgeous. I think it's a really nice palette. You can do quite a lot with it considering it's only 10 shades. You've got kind of your more neutrals. You can do a bit of like a pop of yellow. Got a couple of shimmers to choose from. This Sugared Blueberry Drizzle is very, very shimmery. I really like this one. I think it's a really great palette and one that I would miss in my collection. So that is it for me today. Let me know if you've got any of these 10 palettes, if they're things that you would miss out of your collection, or if you'd be happy to let them go if you needed to. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. As I said before, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you here. You've been fabulous. I've been Cole at the Ball, and I'll see you next time. Bye.